were liberals on there just saying all kinds of vile things about the guy, making anything up, and nobody calls him to account. And oh, you think Facebook or Twitter would knock anybody off for saying those kind of things about Larry Elder? Not a chance. Carolina Journal is reporting the State House voted 58-47 today to endorse a bill requiring the state attorney general, Josh Stein, to get approval from the legislative leaders before settling lawsuits on their behalf. The bill now heads to the governor, which he will veto, because this is reining in Josh Stein, and don't you know that Josh Stein is the personal attorney for whatever the governor wants. I mean, he's basically Roy Cooper's private attorney. The measure passed on party line vote, Republicans supporting it, Democrats opposing it. Senate Bill 360 is entitled Prohibit Collusive Settlements by the AG. Many of you were here last session in the summer of 2020 facing a pandemic. We had members of both parties create a bipartisan elections bill because we were dealing with COVID, said Representative Destin Hall from Caldwell County. While explaining the bill's origin, we wanted people to be able to vote safely while also ensuring that we had election integrity. We did that, he added. We worked for weeks on that bill, and the ultimate product was the bill that passed 105-14. The Senate and the governor signed off on the measure. It became law, but groups aligned with the Democratic Party filed suit against the state's new COVID-inspired election rules, Hall explained. The problem came up in September of 2020 when a supposed or alleged settlement was reached between the Democrat governor's state board of election and the Democratic groups who had sued. Sounds like a conflict of interest, do you think? So essentially, it became a friendly lawsuit at that point. Even though the General Assembly was a party to the lawsuit, they were not given the opportunity to sign off on it. This was 41 days before the election. 1 million absentee ballots had been requested. 225,000 people had already voted in this election. This settlement agreement changed the rules in the middle of the game. He said, I don't care how you're changing them. That never makes sense. We should have one set of rules for an election. They shouldn't be changed right in the middle of it, as they were. And North Carolina wasn't the only state, but it was one of the states. And yeah, you don't think that that was part of the national make sure that Biden wins regardless of what we do? The House Speaker and the Senate President Pro Tem filed a lawsuit at the time to block the settlement. SB 360 would apply to only future lawsuits. And this, I mean, it's sad, but you have an attorney general that, I mean, this is malfeasance, what he has done. Representative Marsha Morley of Durham objected to the bill, said it should have been put forward as a proposed constitutional amendment. She argued it would change the duties of the Attorney General spelled out in the Constitution. Well, the Attorney General isn't following the rules spelled out for him in the Constitution. Why aren't you complaining about that? Representative Sarah Stevens of Surrey County responded to the objections. As an attorney who's practiced for years and years, I've never been able to settle, and no judge has been willing to accept a settlement that was not signed off on all parties. The state of North Carolina was party here. We had an interest. We still have an interest, but we're not even consulted. The Senate approved SB 360 on a 28-21 party line vote in April. Once the bill is officially presented to Governor Roy Cooper, he will have 10 days to sign it, veto it, or allow it to become law without his signature. He will veto it. He'll veto it. I mean, he wants Josh Stein there at his beck and call. Josh, you got to follow the rules of the progressives. You got to follow the rules of the libs. It'll get vetoed. I mentioned yesterday an article written by David Zwig out of The Atlantic. He writes in this article, another worrying statistic is often cited to depict the dangers of this moment. The number of patients hospitalized with COVID-19 in the United States right now is as high as it's been since the beginning of February. It's even worse in certain places. Some states, including Arkansas and Oregon, recently saw their COVID hospitalizations rise to higher levels than at any other prior stage of the pandemic. But how much do these latter figures really tell us? From the start, COVID hospitalizations have served as a vital metric for tracking the risks posed by the disease. But a new nationwide study of hospitalization records released as a preprint today, which was actually yesterday, and not formally peer-reviewed, suggests that the meaning of this gauge can easily be misinterpreted. And that has been shifting over time. If you want to make sense of the COVID number hospitalizations at any given time, you need to know how sick each patient actually is. Until now, that's been almost impossible to find out. The federal government requires hospitals to report every patient who tests positive for COVID, yet the overall tallies of COVID hospitalizations made available on various state and federal dashboards and widely reported by the media do not differentiate based on the severity of the illness. Some patients need extensive medical intervention, such as getting intubated, while others require supplemental oxygen or administration of the steroids. But there are many COVID patients in the hospital with fairly mild symptoms too, who have been admitted for further observation on account of their comorbidities or because they're reported feeling short of breath. Another portion of the patients in this tally are in the hospital for something unrelated to COVID and discovered that they were infected only because they were tested on admission. In other words, story after story after story you hear about hospitalizations of COVID patients at an all-time high is fake news. Now, okay, they're in the hospital, they're tested, and they're tested positive for COVID, but essentially they're asymptomatic. They wouldn't even know they had COVID if they weren't tested on the way in for something else. And guess what? They're listed as a COVID patient. There is a bizarre story that's made the news today. It actually came out on Friday from WECT down in Wilmington. This is, get ready with cut 2, this is, Clark. In a doctor-leaked video from last Friday, staff at the Novant Health New Hanover Regional Medical Center says hospital COVID-19 messaging should be more scary for the public. You don't get vaccinated, you know you're going to die. This leaked video, again, there was a doctor in on this Zoom call. We don't know who it was, and obviously he's not going to admit it or they'd can him. But fortunately, there was an honest doctor in their midst who leaked this video to WECT. And this video confirms all your suspicions. Now, you're going to hear 3 people that speak in the audio from the Zoom call. The video begins with the hospital director of marketing, Carolyn Fisher, explaining what information the hospital provides in terms of COVID-19 numbers, with specific mention of the percentage of unvaccinated hospitalizations. Dr. Mary Ruddock, who previously served as the chief medical staff for the New Hanover Hospital, responds bluntly, saying she feels the hospital's messaging needs to be a little bit more scary. Then you'll hear Shelbourne Stevens, who earlier this year was named president of Novant Health New Hanover Regional Medical Center and the Coastal Market, clarifies Ruddock's request, explaining that he will get the padded COVID numbers up to marketing. Listen to this audio. This is unbelievable. Thank goodness for the doctor that leaked this. This is from last Friday.
The dashboard and how it's set up itself, as far as how we get information out to the community on meaningful numbers. We do that on a weekly basis. So that's on our website, and we've been sharing that through social channels as well, particularly those graphics that show the number of patients in-house, the percentage of them that are unvaccinated, the percentage of unvaccinated people in the ICU, and the percentage of deaths and the numbers. So those are numbers that we put out. We don't get into details of floor or those other numbers are certainly out there.
Right. I guess my feeling at this point in time is maybe we need to be completely a little bit more scary for the public. Then there's another comment is I completely agree. There are many people still hospitalized that we're considering post-COVID, but we're not counting in those numbers. So how do we include those post-COVID people in the numbers of the patients we have in the hospital?
So is that all the people who have been in the hospital since the beginning of COVID?
Well, or that are still in it, and that's something that I can take to someone else. But I think those are important numbers. The patients that are still in the hospital, that are off the COVID floor, but still are occupying the hospital for a variety of reasons.
Okay.
Carolyn, we call those, I'm sorry, we're calling those recovered now. If you look at the Novant Health dashboard, they're listed as recovered. But I do think from our standpoint, we would still consider them a COVID patient because they're still healing.
Yeah. So I think that needs to be highlighted as well. Because once they're off isolation and drop from the COVID numbers, that's exactly right.
Kelly, we can talk offline and how we run that up to the marketing.
Right. So I'm just going to say, Carolyn, I think we have to be more blunt. We have to be more forceful. We have to say something coming out. You don't get vaccinated, you're going to die. I mean, let's just be really blunt to these people.
This is unbelievable. Why in the world would they be doing this unless there was a motive other than the health of the people? Now, what's interesting is, again, we're sorry the audio was a little hard to follow there. But at one point, this director of marketing, Carolyn Fisher, says, we got to scare these people. We've got to scare the you-know-what out of them. We're just tell them if they don't get this vaccination, they're going to die. And then she comes back and she says, well, listen, how can we count? We need to count everybody that has COVID. Even if they've recovered and they're not in the hospital for having COVID, how do we still count them? And the Shelbourne Stevens says, well, we consider them recovering, and I can figure out how we can count them, and I'll get it up to marketing for you. So we can get this fake news out to everybody. This is right down in Wilmington. Novant New Hanover Regional Medical Center. Thank goodness there was a doctor that said, I'm not going to put up with this. It's unbelievable. It makes you wonder, too, okay, is it... I know there are a lot of doctors out there that have gotten the vaccine. And again, I've said all along, you want to get the vaccine, go get the vaccine. But I've also said all along that none of these numbers make a whole lot of sense. They don't add up. I mean, you listen to the state news, the national news day after day. Oh, the COVID numbers are just through the roof. There's more people now in the hospital. You don't hear a lot about deaths, but you hear a lot of people being hospitalized. Okay, they're in the hospital. They're tested positive for COVID, but if they didn't go to the hospital and they weren't tested during admission, they would never have known they had COVID. A Novant Health spokesperson issued the following statement to WECT. The team members involved in this excerpt from an internal meeting are seeing the highest level of COVID-19 hospitalizations and deaths so far in this pandemic. Despite having safe and effective vaccines widely available, this was a frank discussion among medical and communications professionals on how we can more accurately convey the severity and seriousness of what's happening inside our hospitals and throughout our communities. What a load. Oh, yes, you elites. You're endowed with divinity. Thank you for lying to us because we're just idiot mortals. Oh, thank you so much for taking good care of us because we can't think for ourselves. We could never be trusted with the truth. We're mere mortals. Please continue to lie to us. We don't have the ability to think for ourselves. This is unbelievable. And the pushback they got on Facebook. I mean, does anybody believe this load? These team members are professional. Feedback on Facebook after this hit Facebook. I just watched a video where your staff basically said we need to lie and skew the numbers of COVID patients so that you can scare people and tell them to go get vaccinated or they'll die. I'd sure like to know where the money passes, lying and trying to scare people. Why would anyone want to trust your hospital? Hey, New Hanover, what's up with this? Stoking fear much? Inflating numbers? We're all awake now. Your time is coming. Another said, you've broken trust. Who can believe you? Another said, caught setting up more lies with your own video and trying to deny it to demonize the unvaccinated. You are the garbage that is ruining this country. Keep inflating numbers because no one's buying it. Another said, the mere fact that some in your ranks are plotting to inflate the data in order to scare the public causes me to wonder how much more behind-the-scenes fraud occurs at your facility. Congratulations on going viral though. Just last year, Robert Redfield, who's the director of the CDC, acknowledged during a House hearing that COVID-19 data could be inflated because hospitals receive a monetary gain by reporting more COVID-19 cases. Yep. Happening right here in North Carolina, right down the road, right in the southern part of our listening area. Unbelievable. Hey, we got to take a time out. Lots more to talk about. Stay with us. More news and views coming right up.
And we're on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We are at Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. It's one of my hangouts. It's one of the places that I love. I got my friend Pietro Pasalacqua. How'd I do?
You did great.
Let's talk about the food. What makes this place? I know it's special Italian from authentic Italians, but tell us why it's so special.
Because everything we do, it's really what we came up on the menu from what we did at home, from my grandparents, my parents. So it's exactly what we eat at home, and that's what the way we cook. That's why it's special.
And the atmosphere in this place is special also. From the bar to the two dining areas. You got two different dining areas, and now the weather's nice, so there's going to be a lot of folks that want to eat outside.
Yeah, we have two rooms. One room is designed a little different. We're also working on the patio to make it more attractive and more useful in the summer with a cocktail service. And we're always improving our services.
And, of course, my friends here, my buddy, Chef Massimo, who I love, and Sal and Pietro, you guys do a great job here. Not just Italian, but I had a great pork chop here the other night. You got great steaks, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're also adding filet mignon in the future on our menu. And Massimo's coming out with a really good side dishes for it. And so we're really excited to come out with new meats and fish dishes.
All right, Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. Same people that give you Marabello's and the great pizza that you get at Marabello's, but this is fine dining at Nino's. If you haven't been here, you don't know what you're missing. Come see them at Nino's on Red Banks Road. And Pietro, what is that famous saying about Nino's?
The food that you enjoy with people that you love.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit topdogonline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern living's best small town.
Ride shotgun with your 5 o'clock drive.
Well, the drive home should be a delight.
This is Tom Lamprecht with more news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome back in. It is news and views for a Wednesday. Taking a look at your weather forecast, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly not a big chance. mainly before 8 o'clock tonight. Chance of rain, 30%. Low tonight around 70. Tomorrow, more of the same. Again, a 30% chance of late afternoon thunderstorms, early evening thunderstorms, high around 86, a little cooler. Tomorrow night, more of the same, low around 72, 30% chance of rain. Yeah, it's interesting talking about the story out of the Novant Health New Hanover Regional Medical Center. You know, there's certain things that we traditionally have always just thought, okay, we're going to get a fair shake on this. And the stories today have a theme. That those things we used to trust in, the FBI, our public schools, teachers, hospitals. I mean, there's certain things that you just trusted and you thought, well, I'm going to get a fair shake there. I don't know. Cleveland.com is reporting there's a little town outside of Akron called Hudson, Ohio, the town of Hudson. Hudson Mayor Craig Sherbert and the Hudson High School parents of the local high school are calling for resignation of the Hudson School Board and teachers after students in the school's Liberal Arts 2 writing class received a book of inappropriate writing prompts. The name of the workbook was 642 Things to Write About. How bad was it? Well, this past Monday evening, 2 nights ago, before the school board, citizens had the opportunity to express their thoughts. It was an open forum, and they did. There was a number of parents that came and read them the riot act. One young lady came in, and apparently in the same class, she's in tears. She was saying, because this is considered a college class, even though it's in the high school, and even though these students are still minors, because it's a college class, a quote college class, they could run films in there that were inappropriate for minors. Soft porn is probably being kind. The teacher would show it, and then, well, this part's a little too frisky, so they would fast forward through it. So you'd see the deed in fast forward motion. But the teacher would explain and describe everything that was going on. This girl was in tears. She said, I wouldn't have to. And she couldn't. She said, I wasn't allowed to leave the room. She probably wasn't allowed to leave the room because it might get out what they were watching in there. But the big part of the story was this workbook, 642 Things to Write About. Hudson Mayor Craig Sherbert was the last person to come in to speak to the board, and this is exactly what he said.
Members of the board, my name is Craig Schubert. I'm the mayor of this city. It has come to my attention that your educators are distributing essentially what is child pornography in the classroom. I've spoken to a judge this evening. She's already confirmed that. So I'm going to give you a simple choice. You either choose to resign from this Board of Education or you will be charged. Thank you.
Well, that's pretty much putting how it is. It's come to my attention that your educators are distributing essentially what's child pornography. I've spoken to a judge this evening. She's already confirmed that. I'm going to give you a simple choice. Either resign from this Board of Education or you will be charged. Now, I looked and looked and looked today. I mean, this just happened Monday night. I have yet to find anything out as to whether or not anyone on the school board has resigned, but I'm sure they've gone and hired attorneys. This is bad. This is bad. Again, another institution where, I mean, for a while there, you know, you suspected certain people that were putting out the curriculum. You know, the curriculum came out of California, but the teachers sifted through it, and the school board supposedly sifted through it. Obviously, they didn't sift through this very well. But now you got teachers. You got teachers that just are happy to go along with it, happy to promote it. Monica Havens, the mother of a high school senior who received the 642 Things to Write About book, previously worked as a teacher for 11 years. She shared some of the prompts from the book at the board meeting. Among them, this is some of the things that they encourage high school students to write about out of this book. Choose how you will die. Write a scene that begins, "It was the first time I killed a man." These people are sick. Describe your favorite part of a man's body using only verbs. You have a dream that you've murdered someone. Who is it? How and why did the murder happen? And what happens afterward? You're a serial killer. What TV shows are on your DVR list? Why? This is a beaut. Write a sex scene you wouldn't show your mom. Rewrite the sex scene from the above into one that you would let your mom and dad read. You've just been caught in bed by a jealous spouse. How will you talk your way out of this? This is unbelievable. And then we gotta attack Christianity. Write a sermon for a beloved preacher who has been caught in a sex scandal. These are high school students. Describe a time when you wanted to orgasm but you couldn't. Write 10 euphemisms for sex. You're a brand new suicide hotline counselor. Describe how you feel during the course of your first call. Write the letter from the point of view of a drug addict. Drink a beer. Write about the taste. These are minors. This is a beaut. Write an X-rated Disney scenario. A room full of people who want to sleep together. That's what you're going to write about. And the crescendo of it all, write about the first time you had sex. These people are sick. And the teacher that would give this assignment, now I assume this is a book that is available nationally. 642 things to write about. Havens said she found out about the book from a friend who shared a screenshot of a page in the book. I asked my daughter if she had been reading the book with a book with inappropriate stuff in it. She said yes. Havens asked to see the book. She went to her backpack, got the book, discovered the horrific prompts. I can't even wrap my brain around a teacher. I don't care if it's for college credit. These are minors, Havens said. Eric Durker, a police officer with the city of Stowe, called for the school to install cameras in classrooms at the board meeting. Police officers wear body cameras to monitor their behavior, and they have brief interactions with the public. You have our kids 8 hours a day. Great point. You bring this up. We want. It's been suggested before. Teachers' unions. Teachers. They're totally against it. You can't have that. Hudson High School principal Brian Welch, in the meeting, told the board and attendees, there are times we need to take a step back and reflect and get better. Get better at what? Not getting caught? I mean, that's the other thing. I am so sick and tired of these people getting caught, literally and figuratively, with their pants down, and then, we're sorry, as if that makes it all fine. I said I'm sorry. We'll try to do better next time. Try to do better at not getting caught is probably what he meant. Welch said he became aware of the inappropriate writing prompts in the book, which is used as a support resource in a college credit course last Friday. The class is offered in association with Harem College, but is taught at the high school, according to Welch. So listen to what he says. Is this acceptable for an 18-year-old college student? I mean, maybe it's legal, but is it acceptable? I mean, of all the things you could write about. He said, we did not exercise our due diligence when we reviewed this resource, and we overlooked several prompts that were not appropriate. We felt terrible. You can't unsee the writing prompts, he said at the meeting. Several. There's several that we didn't see. I just listed 17 for you. Hudson High School on Monday issued an apology to parents and is working to collect the prompt books. Welch told the board and the meeting attendees that the school will do a better job in the future. That's what they always say. I'm sorry, we'll do a better job in the future. And look, if something else happens right then and there, something else is going, why didn't they know about it? Isn't this what the school board is supposed to be doing? Instead, they're spending all their time about how many masks we're going to wear. How about going over curriculum? And folks, okay, this is up near Akron, Ohio, but this was a small town in Ohio, Hudson, Ohio. If you think this isn't happening in North Carolina, in eastern North Carolina, you better wake up. You better wake up and smell the coffee. We'll be right back.
Your trade is in high demand. That means your trade-in value has never been hotter. Get to Greenville Toyota now. We'll pay more for your trade than ever before. Get cash on the spot, even if you don't buy from us. At Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Sawyer's Fun Park in Winterville is now open. With over 40,000 square feet of family fun, daily money-saving deals, and a full-service restaurant, Sawyer's Fun Park is guaranteed to have something the whole family will love. Test your ninja skills on our 2-story obstacle course or head over to one of our 5 rock walls and race your friends to the top. And when you've worked up an appetite in our laser tag arena or our one-of-a-kind ropes course, grab a table over at the restaurant and try our world-famous Southern Monster Fries. Reserve your spot today at SawyersFunPark.com and come join in on the fun.
My name is Dr. Neeti Armistead, Chief Medical Officer for Vidant Health. The following simple steps will help keep you and your community safe. Stay home as much as possible, wear a mask when out in public, avoid large gatherings, practice social distancing, and wash hands often. It's also important not to delay needed care. Vidant has taken important steps to provide you and your family with a safe environment. Learn more about COVID-19 and Vidant's response. Call 252-847-8000 or visit vidanthealth.com/COVID-19.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
This is your Drive at 5 and ENC with Tom Lamprecht. Welcome back to News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. Talking about this story with Clark during the break out of Hudson, Ohio. This 642 things to write about in the perversion. You know, it's you can see some teacher wanting to get his happies out of reading his kicks, his perverted kicks, out of reading these essays. I mean, you could, I don't know. I'm not accused. Well, listen, whoever the teacher was, he knew what was being requested of these kids. If he had any kind of morals, he would have immediately gone to those people above him and said, this is inappropriate stuff. But he hands it out. I mean, you can imagine him wanting to read, about these young girls, these 16-year-old girls, and the first time they had sex. And what happens when he gets that essay? And suddenly it's like, gee, should I tell your parents about this? Suddenly, some young man or young woman can be blackmailed by the guy. If the guy's a pervert, again, I don't have anybody in mind, but you can see how suddenly this thing could get even uglier than it already is.
It really spiral out of control.
Yeah. So, hey, again, the theme today, the institutions we used to trust that we can't anymore. Here's another one for you, the military. We talked about this yesterday. Mark Milley, the general, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, responded through a spokesperson today to that bombshell report that he was on the phone talking to his Chinese counterpart, saying, hey, don't worry, if we attack you, I'll call you ahead of time so you can be ready. There's other stories out of the same book by Bob Woodworth and Robert Costa talking about the fact that Milley had gone to other officers that were below him. Again, he's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, going to other military officers below him and basically having them pledge their loyalty to him. Well, who's above him? The president is. So he's usurping the authority of the President of the United States, Donald Trump. And apparently, if this book is correct, all these other military officers said, yeah. So the Pentagon comes out with a statement. And in essence, they never denied that Milley said these things. They never denied it happened. They say things like, keeping with his responsibilities as senior military advisor to the President and the Secretary of Defense, Milley frequently conducts meetings with uniformed leaders across the services to ensure all leaders are aware of current issues. The meeting regarding nuclear weapon protocols was to remind uniformed leaders in the Pentagon of the long-established and robust procedures in light of media reporting on the subject. He never denied. Now, maybe he'll come out and deny it later, but basically he said, well, another part of this release from the Pentagon, well, he calls leaders all across the globe. He calls his counterparts all the time. What's the big deal? The big deal is you're our adversary. Now, you weren't the declared enemy, but you were our adversary, China. And Milley is over there saying, hey, don't worry, I'll give you the inside scoop. You know, now, we talked yesterday, and I said during one of the calls, that somebody called and said he should be tried for treason. And I said, well, we're not in a declared war. But if you look up UMCJ Article 94, a service member of the United States Armed Forces who seeks to overthrow lawful civil or military order by seditious or mutinous acts, either through violence or disobedience, could face punishment under Article 94 of the UCMJ. Accusations of mutiny and sedition are some of the most serious in the military. While a remote chance of occurring, even the less serious offenses found within Article 94 could carry with them the penalty of death, regardless of whether the actions were taken at a time of war or peace. Go look it up. Go look it up on your Windows Explorer. Google it. UCMJ, Article 94. There's a lot of detail there. I realize the guy's innocent until proven guilty. And Bob Woodworth and Robert Costa, no, I don't necessarily believe everything they say is the gospel. But, hey, nonetheless. By the way, Donald Trump has responded. Miley has faced widespread calls to resign over the phone call, including from Trump. He said in a statement, if the story of dumb A General Mark Milley, the same failed leader who engineered the worst withdrawal from a country, Afghanistan, in U.S. history, leaving behind many dead and wounded soldiers, many American citizens, and $85 billion worth of the newest and most sophisticated military equipment in the world, and our country's reputation is true, then I would assume he would be tried for treason, in that he would have been dealing with his Chinese counterpart behind the president's back and telling China that he would be giving them notification of an attack. Can't do that, Trump continued. The good news is that the story is fake news concocted by a weak and ineffective general together with two authors who I refuse to give an interview to because they wrote fiction. Well, again, to President Trump, okay, it's not going to be treason, but it could be mutiny and sedition. And I don't think Milley would really relish this book coming out. Just saying. Hey, we've got to take another time out. Stay with us. I'll be right back.
Break the chain. Eat local. Tiebreakers.
Hey, this is Hank Hinton back here at Full Service Flooring in Winterville. I'm here today with Corey Little, who's the operations manager here at Full Service Flooring. Corey's been here 6 months, but you've been in construction a long time. Tell us about what you do here at Full Service Flooring.
Yeah, I got over here about 6 months ago. I've been in construction for, like I said, a little over 20 years, and I've known Tim for a long time now, and he's brought me over here to see what new kind of things I can bring to the store and to our customers. And I'm in charge of scheduling, and I don't know what else. I'm in charge of everything. It seems like we work together as a team and try to pull it all together. I might do a measure one day and do a commercial floor the next day, but we just kind of all work together and pull it all together at one time.
So what's new in flooring? What is the hot new thing?
The hot new thing is LVP or LVT, depending on what you're looking for, which look you're looking for. It's a waterproof product. It's absolutely fantastic. You can't really beat it.
A lot cheaper than hardwoods?
It is definitely a cost-effective alternative to hardwoods, yes, sir.
So, Corey, how is business right now?
And business is good. Despite the pandemic, we're still seeing a lot of new customers in the store, and we get an opportunity to introduce our products in a lot of different situations right now.
Corey, you've got a lot of experience in the construction industry. How is that helping you here with people, helping people with flooring here at Full Service Flooring?
Sure. I try to take the experiences that I've gained over my time in construction to help apply that to the flooring, whether it be with what the structure is made out of, the subfloor that we're going over top of, or maybe even just how it coordinates with your kitchen cabinets in construction or in your bathroom and how the tub and everything all ties together.
And a customer can just come here and see you anytime?
Absolutely. We're here 6 days a week, and we just love to see a new customer in here anytime. They can always call us and schedule something with us so we can make sure we have our time allotted for them.
Corey, thank you so much. That's Corey Little here at Full Service Flooring. Come see these guys. They're on Tilco Drive in Winterville, 756-9308 and fullserviceflooring.com.
News and views.
He's kind of a diva.
He's absolutely fascinating.
Ultimate gentleman spy. Irresistible to women, deadly to his enemies, a legend in his own time.
You won't believe what he's going to say next on Talk 96.3 and 103.7. Here's Tom Lamprecht.
So up in D.C. today, there was a hearing involving U.S. Olympic gymnasts, women who were competed in gymnastics. Many were in the Olympics. Simone Biles was one of those. She testified before the Senate committee. Here's just a portion of what she said.
My name is Simone Biles, and I'm a gymnast who is trained at the levels of the sport. And I believe without a doubt that the circumstances that led to my abuse and allowed it to continue are directly the result of the fact that the organizations created by Congress to oversee and protect me as an athlete, USA Gymnastics and the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee failed to do their jobs. I don't want another young gymnast, Olympic athlete, or any individual to experience the horror that I and hundreds of others have endured before, during, and continuing to this day. To be clear, I blame Larry Nassar, and I also blame an entire system that enabled and perpetrated his abuse. We have been failed, and we deserve answers. Nassar is where he belongs, but those who enabled him deserve to be held accountable.
Simone Biles went on for about 5 minutes talking about how Larry Nassar had abused, I think it was a total, they figured out something like 260 young ladies, sexually abused them as the doctor for the gymnast. It is what the irony of this is the earlier story out of Hudson, Ohio, where we're trying to encourage young people to write about perversion. And at the same time, what is the result of this perversion? You have, and I'm not saying everybody that's going to write an essay is going to turn out like Larry Nassar, but why is it that we encourage this kind of thing, this kind of behavior, when the results can end up with ruined lives? I mean, it's unbelievable. The FBI went through all kinds of interviews with these gymnasts about Larry Nassar, and they basically just swept it under the carpet. One young lady said, when I read the final report that came out years later, I thought, they didn't interview me. I didn't say these things. They actually said that the gymnasts tried to cover up for Larry Nassar. That's how bizarre it was. And Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, what does he say? He comes out and says, gee, I didn't know anything about it. This is news to me. Typical. Hey, thanks for being with us. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll play a little political trivia. Pray for our country. It needs it. Thanks. See you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, all right, all right.
We're on location at Fabric and Home Furnishings, and I'm back with my friend Lisa Pendry. And Lisa's been telling me about all the great renovations that have been going on here in the store, and I've been looking around, and it looks fantastic. Tell us what you've done here.
Well, we've knocked some walls down, we've painted, we've added some new vendors, lots of new exciting things going on. So we're making room for everybody to get what they need to transform their homes.
Looks fantastic in here. Last time we talked, you were saying that you were able to deliver a lot faster than most other furniture stores. Is that still the case?
It is. It's changed a little bit, but we're still looking at around 8 to 10 week delivery, and we do sell our floor samples right off the floor.
All right, we always say that Fabric and Home Furnishings is more than just a fabric store, so tell us what the more is all about. What when people come in, what should they expect?
Well, we love to get to know our customers. I have the best crew I've ever had, and everybody on my team is an interior designer. So we offer in-home design service, which we always have, but now they can each come out to your home after they work with you in here, figure out what's going on in your residence or your commercial property to pull it together and help you make everything beautiful.
You got great folks here.
I do.
I can tell you, I haven't gotten to know them. It's like a family when you come in here, and everybody gets along well, and you can tell that these guys and gals really know what they're talking about when it comes to interior design.
They do, and that's really what makes us different. We offer complete in-home design service. We don't charge a by-the-hour fee. It's a flat one-time fee. We work with you in here, in your home, in your business, and help pull everything together.
All right, it's more than just a fabric store. Fabric and Home Furnishings in Arlington Village. Come see this lady. She's fantastic. Fabric and Home Furnishing. Come see the renovations here in Arlington Village. And thank you for the visit today.
Thank you, Henry.
All right, you got to come see what they've done in the store here on Arlington Boulevard in Arlington Village.